Hello, everybody. I'm BC Begley, and these are your news headlines for September 16th, 2022. Judge appoints special master, denying DOJ access to classified records. A federal judge on Thursday denied the Justice Department's motion to access classified records stored at Mar-a-Lago and installed a recently retired judge to serve as the special master former President Trump had requested. Judge Aileen Cannon has appointed Judge Raymond Dier as the special master to review documents seized during a court-approved search of former President Donald Trump's Florida home back in August. At least 440 graves found at Isium burial site, Ukraine says. Ukrainian authorities have found 440 graves at a mass burial site in Isium, an eastern city recently recaptured from Russian forces, Ukraine's defense ministry said in a Twitter post on Friday. Ukraine's Center for Strategic Communications said on Thursday that some of the graves discovered at Isium were fresh and that the corpses buried there were mostly civilians. U.S. leaders avoid victory dance in Ukraine as combat advances. U.S. leaders from President Joe Biden on down are being careful not to declare a premature victory after a Ukrainian counteroffensive forced Russian troops into a messy retreat in the north. Instead, military officials are looking toward the fights still yet to come and laying out plans to provide Ukraine more weapons and expand training while awaiting Russia's response to the sudden stunning battlefield losses. Palestinian farmer discovers rare ancient treasure in Gaza. The discovery of an ornate Byzantine-era mosaic has set off excitement among archaeologists, and the territory's Hamas rulers are planning a major announcement. Last spring, a Palestinian farmer was planting a new olive tree when his shovel hit a hard object. He then called his son, and for the next 3 months, the pair slowly excavated an ornate Byzantine-era mosaic that experts say is one of the greatest archaeological treasures ever found in Gaza. The mosaic was uncovered just a half a mile from the Israeli border. The floor is boasting 17 iconographies of beasts and birds. It is well preserved and its colors are bright. Alaska's western coast is expecting high winds and flooding and powerful storm this weekend. The remnants of Typhoon Marbach are putting residents of western Alaska on high alert as a coastal storm is expected to bring flooding and strong winds this weekend. Wind gusts as high as 65 miles per hour are expected, according to the National Weather Service in Fairbanks. Winds are scheduled to peak early on Saturday morning. Forecasters are calling it, quote, the strongest storm in over a decade. Tsunami-like floodwaters kill at least 10 in Italy as people climb trees to find safety. Floodwaters triggered by heavy rainfall have swept through several towns in a hilly region of central Italy, leaving 10 people dead and at least 4 others missing, authorities said. Dozens of survivors scrambled onto rooftops or up trees to await rescue. A mother and her young daughter are still missing after trying to escape the floodwaters, the mayor told Italian news agency ANSA. Tropical Storm Fiona bringing heavy rains to Puerto Rico. Tropical Storm Fiona was forecast to move across the Caribbean's easternmost islands Friday night before slowing to a spot just south of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico late Saturday and Sunday, the U.S. National Hurricane Center said. The tropical storm warnings were in effect for the Leeward Islands, and a tropical storm watch was issued for Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Dominica. Germany seizes control of 3 Russian-owned oil refineries ahead of looming EU deadline. An oil subsidiary in Germany, previously controlled by a Russian oil giant, is now under the control of the German government, it announced on Friday. The German government said it took control of Rosneft Deutschland and RN Refining and Marketing, 2 companies owned up until now by multinational oil and gas company Rosneft. The community looks to cut its oil dependence on Russia. Germany's economy minister said on Friday that companies will be put under the control of the Federal Network Agency. The ministry also said the agency will assume control of the company's shares in 3 refineries, PCK Schwitt, Miro, and Bainer Oil. Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan report heavy weapon use in recent border clash. Officials from the Kyrgyz border have accused the Tajik forces of opening fire on several of its outposts in an escalation of tension 2 days after a brief confrontation between the two Central Asian nations. The border guard said Kyrgyz forces were returning fire on Friday morning as clashes took place along the length of the border, adding that Tajik forces were using tanks, armored personnel carriers, and mortars. More than 1/3 of the 600-mile frontier remains disputed. Slow-moving fireball over Scottish skies keeps experts guessing. Hundreds of people across Scotland, Northern Ireland, and northern parts of England spotted an unusual fireball lighting up the sky on Wednesday. It was unclear whether it was a meteor or a piece of space debris, said Anne O'Brien, a doctoral student at the University of Glasgow and a member of the UK Fireball Alliance, which tracks meteor sightings. The fireball was visible in the sky for 10 to 20 seconds, an unusually long period of time for a meteor, but the way the object fragmented in the sky suggested that it was a space rock. And those are your news headlines for September 16th, 2022.